Welcome to episode 74 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Sense. And now that spring has sprung, people visiting Calumet County are starting to see the trees leaf out, flowers bloom, dandelions pop, and orange road construction signs are starting to appear. The important work that the road crews do in Calumet County is the topic of today's episode as we delve into the projects on the docket for the 2026 road construction schedule in Calumet County. Joining me for today's episode is Chad Scheinoha, Highway Commissioner for the Calumet County Highway Department, and Spencer Loebel, Highway Superintendent for the Calumet County Highway Department. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us, Rick.
Yeah,
thank you. Anytime we get the chance to talk a little bit about our highway projects and get that information out to the public, that's a great thing, right, to get that out there for people to know. I thought I'd share a little bit of our recent activity here in our administrative side. We've just recently updated our vision statement for the Highway Department, and it seemed fitting to read that off here to our listeners since it relates to the travelers in our county. So what that says is we're here to provide a safe and adaptive infrastructure system through trend-setting practices, innovation, and analysis for our local communities and travelers of our current and future generations. So that's what we're here to do.
All right. Well, great, Chad. Highway B seems to be one that's kind of a bigger deal right now. Could you maybe give the current status of County Highway B, the reconstruction project, and what are the specific milestones that you guys are looking to achieve on it in 2026?
Sure. I'm gonna turn that one right over to Spencer. He's our highway superintendent, and he's got crews out there right now working. So, Spencer, if you want to take that one, feel free.
Yeah, working as we speak right now out on B. We are doing culvert replacements along that stretch all the way from 57 over to Sherwood. Currently, we are on the last couple pipes to finish that up, and then after that, we have some ditch reconstruction, and then the public can expect to see a little bit of a lull here in the middle of May, early part of May, middle of May. And then what will happen is a private contractor will come in and reclose the road and then do the surface pulverizing and paving there. So You'll see a little lull in May, but then we'll be back onto that closure again.
So this is impacting places like Mulberry Lane Farm and in the St. John area and the Crystal Ballroom, correct?
Yes, correct. So it's the entire corridor between 57 and out to 55. Currently, right now, we hard close it where we are working locally. Today we're over by Marks Road, and then our last pipe will be over, last two pipes will be over by the railroad tracks, Borneman Lane, and then the other one will be at 57. So.
When you are doing the additional work that you're coming up and the flaggings, is that going to affect all local traffic, or is it going to be like a spot by spot area, or is the whole road going to be closed to local traffic at that, or to regular flow traffic?
Yeah, so when we get into the federally funded portion of the project, which is the pulverizing and the paving, they will close that road down.
Okay.
So there'll be a full closure, local traffic only, of course. So if you have business or if you live in that area, and you have a reason to be in there, that's fine. It will be passable. However, the closure is up to deter normal traffic from traversing through that area and disrupting construction.
I take BB home every night, so am I going to have problems getting through that intersection, or should I route go down to 114 instead? What would be smarter?
BB will be open.
It will be for that?
Yes.
Might be a bump here or two to
Sure,
get through,
okay.
but it'll remain passable.
Spencer mentioned the detour. The detour will run through Sherwood south on 114 south over to BB, and then BB back north through St. John's. So that will be the detour route around the...
Kind of like a big U-shape.
Big U-shape around
Yeah.
the south end. So
Okay.
BB will be open north-south.
So how are you communicating those detours to everybody in the area, to the businesses? And then maybe throw another question on top of that one at the same time is, if I'm traveling a vacation time here in Calumet County, where could I go to learn more about what the projects are and when they're happening?
Sure. So the way we communicate that, Rick, is we post that 1 to 2 weeks in advance in our local newspaper here, the Tri-County News. So if it's a county road project, it gets posted in the newspaper. We also post it on our county website. It's a county road project, as well as posting message boards on the highway 1 week prior to the project. So that would be a county road project. If it's a state road project, that's a little bit different. The DOT handles the advertising for those projects. The best place to look is 511.com. That's a DOT 511 website, and that has all the current state projects happening on that website. If you're planning a trip, into the future, it may not be on 511 yet because that's a current project site. So you can go to the DOT project site, which is different. If you Google it, search it, you should be able to find it on the DOT website. So those are some of the ways we try to get that information out there ahead of time. You're always welcome to call our office here. We've got staff here, 4 or 5 days a week and can answer any questions you might have. Something Spencer and I just talked about a little while ago here is, for those DOT projects, the county is more of a liaison between the DOT and the public because the DOT runs those projects. So we can answer a ton of questions, but a lot of times we'll be referring someone to the DOT if it's a state highway. And for those of you that are not involved with road construction, I didn't know this prior to my career in road construction. The county roads are lettered highways and the state roads are numbered highways. Might seem simple, but not to everybody.
It's a good thing to remember when you're navigating.
Yeah, and just to reiterate, that's 511wi.gov will take you to that website. There's a map on there. You can also go to travel link and it'll give you all the updates on the construction projects.
So 511wi.gov is where,
Yep.
if you're planning a trip to Calumet County, we sure hope you are. If you're planning that trip, you might want to check in there a couple of days, a week or so before you actually start heading this way, just so you know and get updates on what's going on. So
Yep.
the final timeline on 151, that's another big project, and Wisconsin 55, the culvert replacements that actually started last year. It's carrying on into this year. Could you guys give an update of that project? And just so listeners know, that's the beautiful scenic drive that you take up along Lake Winnebago on the western side of the Calumet County, but it's actually the east shore of Lake Winnebago. So.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah, it's we're happy to see some construction happening there. They're working on bridges and culvert replacements. However, like you say, Rick, it's unfortunate that's the scenic drive there along the edge of Lake Winnebago. That work is carrying over from last year. It's starting about May 18th. This year, you should see some message boards out there about a week prior if you're coming through the area. That's going to continue on at different areas along that whole route throughout the whole county, north to south end there on 151 and 55 all the way through November.
Okay.
I do have a detailed project schedule. You can view that on our county website. And to find that, you just go to the county website's main page, and then you'll have to drill in to highway and then county construction projects at our highway website.
So calumetcounty.org, and I click on the highway department.
Click
and then
on the
I can
highway
go.
and then into construction projects under highway, and you can find all that information. There's actually a link to the detailed timeline on that project. So if you're coming into the county from the north end, from the Appleton area, coming down 55 there and through Sherwood, that may be open, but the south end might be closed. Vice versa, if you're coming in from the south end via Fond du Lac, the north end might be closed. You might get in on the south end. So that county website and that detailed project schedule would be a good place to find that information.
Can you elaborate on the planned County Highway M design and road reconstruction project?
Sure. So that's one that we've been working on for about a year and a half now with the village of Sherwood. We've got an engineering firm there that's helping us out with the design. The design is completely finished, and we've got a contractor lined up to start here. When is that, Spencer? That's lined up to start May 18th as well. So that's the same date as the 151-55 project. They're going to be replacing storm sewer for about a month to 2 months in there, and then we'll be getting in to do the surface, the asphalt pavement. But I would say that project's going to start May 18th and last all the way through midsummer here.
And what about the businesses that are located there? I know the granary is one that comes to mind right away. How are they going to be impacted, and is there a traffic pattern to get to the granary?
There is. So that will continue to be open to local traffic for the entire time, but not through traffic. So if you're going to the granary, Heritage 51, I think is the restaurant down there. 71, Heritage 71. You will have access there. Spencer and the crews here will be signing that appropriately. There should be some fairly large signs helping people navigate into those, public areas. And
Probably be up on the hill on the big curve right before you get on M off of 55. Is that kind of like they were last fall with those flags?
Yeah, kind of following the same thing we had last year. And anytime we do an urban project, obviously those are the most disruptive because there's parking, there's people needing to get in and out of driveways and businesses. We always try to we ramp traffic in, ramp them out. We signify areas that if there's a manhole sitting up or something, we So we do our best to try to get traffic in. At any time that we are working, we always try to manage a local traffic type of situation where we can get people into businesses. That's obviously our focus. We want to keep commerce going. We don't want to disrupt it any more than we have. So we try to keep traffic coming into these businesses and homes, that need to get into the areas.
So you're working with the residents and the businesses there, obviously, to try to make life as simple and easy for them, and to remind everybody out there they're open for business.
That's always our goal. I mean, we have to rip up the road. We have to, we want to make a brand new road, which in the end helps the commerce. But yeah, in the meantime, it's dusty and there's some bumps, but we always do our best. And the public is always encouraged to talk to us with any concerns with that. At any time, we want to work with them and try to make life easy through the construction season. So,
what specific work is planned for County Highway E, the culvert and road reconstruction design there?
Sure.
You want to speak on the first
part?
part?
Take the first part of it. So we're going to be going into there early June, I believe. And because of the 55 closure as well, we had to be a little selective with when we were going to do this. So we are doing this away from when the 55 culvert at E is going to be replaced. So this is hopefully going to be the least disruptive way we could do this summer. And what we're doing is we're going to be replacing a large culvert just to the, it's in town, it's on the western edge of town on E. We suspect it'll take a couple weeks to get it done, and we'll have it paved over. It'll be kind of a temporary, because next year there'll be a full reconstruction, urban reconstruction in that segment. But that's what we have slated for that. So, Chad, do you have anything?
Yeah, just to elaborate on the roadway reconstruction then. So there's a culvert, small bridge going in, as Spencer mentioned, this year. We're in the design phase yet for the road reconstruction, which will take place in 2027. Yeah. There's actually a public information meeting tomorrow night at the Village of Stockbridge Fire Station. It's at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, where our engineering firm will and ourselves will take input on that project. If the public has any input, any concerns for that project in 27, they can give that input. And then sometime next summer, we'll be reconstructing from New Street all the way down to Lake Winnebago with that stretch there. So this year is bridges and culverts, and then next year is the road reconstruction.
Okay. Heading north a little bit, what about County KK, the pedestrian crossing there? What's the expected completion date on that?
Yes, is that the one, just to clarify the location, to the west of County Trunk N on KK?
Yes.
Okay. So right now we've been really maintaining what we have there at that crossing. There's a school on one side of the road and some residence subdivision on the other side. There was a study done a couple years ago from East Central Wisconsin Regional Planning Commission, and they made some recommendations. So we've implemented all of those recommendations, which we're signing and marking basically in that area. We also added speed feedback sensors as well, so that traffic can see how fast they're going. We think it's helped quite a bit. We also, each fall, when school goes back, we freshen up all the paint markings on the road for the crossing, the yield markings, all of that kind of stuff. So that's what's currently happening. I am in some conversations with the school up there and our county administration, I would say, on some further improvements. I just don't have any solid information there right now. So there's a chance in the coming year we could see some further improvements there. Okay. But right now, we have what we have, and we're just maintaining what's there.
Okay. Following the emergency culvert replacement on County Highway PP in April, are there any further long-term improvements planned for that stretch?
Yeah, we not this year at least.
Okay.
Mother Nature helped us out a little bit, show us where the weak points in that road were to be reconstructed next year. Mm-hmm. So if only it could have hung on one more year. But that was some pretty torrential rain. So no, nothing this year anymore, at least as long as we don't get another 6-inch rain. But we do have in 2027, we're expecting culvert replacements along that stretch, so that'll be next year. And then 2028, we're doing ditch improvements, pulverizing, and full paving. So
okay.
A couple of years here of some work starting in 27. Yeah, this year was a bit of a surprise to us. We weren't expecting to have to go up there, but hopefully we got in and got out of there without disrupting the public too much. And it seems like everyone was very understanding, with an emergency situation like that.
And then how are you guys working and coordinating with Wisconsin's DOT on the US 10 resurfacing project scheduled for this year?
Sure. That one up there, kind of like I mentioned before, we're kind of that liaison between the county and the state. We'll be involved with a pre-construction conference that's going to be coming up soon up there on Highway 10. I don't have any specific dates yet, so I'm hopeful to learn that over the course of the next month or so. That's in overlay and slab repair project, and most of it will be done under lane closures, but there will be a 5-day full closure on 2 sections of roadway. One of those closures will be at the interchange of 114 and Highway 10, where the ramps come on and off there. So there'll be a detour there, routing traffic over to County Trunk N. At some point, there'll also be a detour on the west end over near Oneida Street, and that I don't know I have a date on that yet either, but that traffic will be routed back through Menasha down Highway 114, up Highway 114. So more to come on that, but we're working with DOT, I would say, but it's a DOT project. So.
Okay. And Spencer, what other projects are out there that are happening right now?
Yeah, so we have a super busy year. We start already next week with some mill and paving on BB. And then on the week of the 18th, May 18th, we'll be chip sealing BB all the way from Crosstown down to F. So we can expect some speed reductions and some loose gravel for a couple weeks following that project. We are pulverizing and paving County Highway D from 10 north to our North County line at the end of May. We will also be doing County Highway HH pulverize and pave in July. And we will be doing... go through my schedule here. We'll be doing finishing the M project at the end of the summer here. We'll be doing County Highway HR replacements. That'd be the full segment culvert replacements on HR. That'll be the full segment between 57 and 10. That is slated to begin sometime in July. And then we take a break on the county projects basically through August, September. We have a lot of town work in there, finishing a lot of town work. And then in October, early October, we're doing a shared project with Sheboygan County Highway Department, rebuilding, pulverizing, and paving County Highway Q from St. Anne to the west.
So that's going to impact
Schwartz's and St. Anne's.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow, it's hard.
I was going to mention that.
Say Schwartz's.
I was going to mention that if you weren't, because that's kind of a locally famous place down there, and if you're taking the route from 151 over to Schwartz's on County Q there, that will impact your supper club.
Yeah, so those are all things to keep in mind. Now, listeners, again, I'm going to give you the opportunity to listen closely here to where to go to get updates. So if I've got a project I'm looking at and it's a highway number, it's a state project. So where do I go to find that information?
Yep, you go to 511wi.gov, and that'll take you to the map. There's a lot of links on there to see where the project is, and you can actually click on the link Travel Services at the top of that page, and that'll take you to all the information you need to know about traveling.
And if I see a road sign that says it's got letters on it, it means it's a county highway, and where would I go for updates on those highways?
So for the county highway updates, you can go to the Calumet County website. You're going to navigate right from the main page to Our County. There's a button on top. You can click that. That'll get you right to the highway website. You can click on highway and then road construction projects.
Well, I appreciate you both, Chad and Spencer, being my guests today on the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. It's great to hear about all the important work that you and your team are doing, and we really appreciate the work that is happening here in Calumet County. Listeners, thanks for tuning in to episode number 74, and please make sure you check out the other 73 episodes of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. You can do that by clicking on the microphone on the homepage of travelcalumet.com. And if you liked what you heard today or on previous episodes, please help us spread the word on all the great things taking place here in Calumet County by taking the time to text a couple of friends, encouraging them to listen to the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. Thanks for listening, and until next time.